You're listening to Tara Lynn's A Geek Saga podcast. This episode features audio from a previously aired live video webcast.
Hey. All right, we are live. So it is Sunday, August 20th, which means 2 weeks from now, it will be kind of nearing the end of DragonCon, which is... Oh no! I'm doing that thing. I've got the live chat, the event page open in the background so that if anybody's watching, they can join in on the live chat to ask questions and stuff. And I never can get it to pause fast enough to not do the stupid double sound thing. So anyway, DragonCon will be ending about 2 weeks from today, which is sad. But for now, we are here to talk all things DragonCon. Like, mostly I wanted to do this because there's a lot of podcasts and stuff out there from people who've been going to DragonCon for decades and decades, and they have such a wealth of knowledge and everything. But they may not really follow all the things that, at least my friends and I kind of love to do and whatnot. So I thought it would be fun to do a what I'm calling Drinkin Con episode of a webcast where we talked about DragonCon tips and tricks for new people, for people who've been attending a while, and also just kind of go through a bit like what we're all going to be doing this year. So I'm Tara. And again, this is the Drinkin Con pre-DragonCon 2017 webcast for newbies and old-timers alike. And I might is the operative word here, try to make this a podcast. That does involve quite a bit of work that I might not have time for the next couple weeks, but in case I do make this a podcast and you listen to it as such, please excuse any technical difficulties and or references to things that seem nonsensical, because we might say things that you would only understand if you're watching the webcast on YouTube. So anyway, again, I'm Tara, also known as A Geek Saga on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. My YouTube channel is a mess, so don't even look at my username on that. And I am here with several friends. I've got Becca of Star Bunny Cosplay, and she also writes for the Geekiary with me. And then I have Ashley, who is Podcast of Ice and Fire and also small counsel for Ice and Fire Con, and Keith, who is longtime Ice and Fire Con attendee, who's kind of off to the side there, just half participating. And last of all, we have, but not least, we have Andrew, who isn't really like Keith. You don't really have a big online presence or whatever, but Andrew's super involved with DragonCon. He's been attending since 2013, I think.
2013, you got it.
And he's on panels this year with me, yay.
Woo!
And whatnot. So yeah, that is us. And again, if you are watching this live, feel free to utilize the live chat on the YouTube webpage, because I will be monitoring that. And yeah, so I guess we'll just jump right in. Hold on, I'm about to cough, or I need to. There we go. So I have bronchitis, which is a great thing to have before DragonCon, but at least it's before.
Con crud.
Yeah,
wow.
It's pre-con crud. So yeah, hopefully this will be gone by the time I get there. I am on medicine, that's a plus. But yeah, so we're going to jump right into this and talk about first things first, 2017 registration.
Woo!
So I was super excited because I heard on the ESO podcast, which, by the way, if you've never listened to ESO, you really should. They do tons of cool stuff, including their DragonCon report, which runs for 6 months, I think, leading up to DragonCon. They do 1 or 2 a month.
Plus or minus, yeah.
Yeah, and they're great guys. I've known them for years, in person and everything. And their podcast, it's one of the ones that I suggest to everybody who is a DragonCon noob. But yeah, so I heard on there that registration was going to be in the Hilton. Let all the people rejoice, right? It's so exciting. Except, Andrew, what did you hear?
Well, when I was listening to the 50 Days of DragonCon podcast, which is another good podcast, it's not actually 50 podcasts. They usually do about 30. But they had an interview with Dan Carroll, who's the media director for DragonCon, and he said he was going to post some information on the media site. So when I turned to that site, it said, just kidding, it is actually still at the Sheraton. So subsequently, other podcasts have released updates saying this information was wrong. It's still at the Sheraton. They plan on confirming that and re-releasing that. I'm sure the ESO podcast will update that as well and make an announcement. But that appears to have been a false alarm, unfortunately, because nobody likes the climb to the Hilton. Or sorry, to the Sheraton.
Well, it's
Andrew.
It's just that you can't get there and back through the habit trails or anything. So no matter what, you are stuck walking outside in the heat and likely up and down hills. To get there. So, yeah.
See, I always had assumed that it was, they purposely did that.
Sorry.
I always assumed that they purposely put it at the Sheraton just to make sure everyone knew where the Sheraton was, because I feel like a lot of people would not even realize where it was if they weren't forced to.
And that's fine. They don't have to go there.
Yeah.
It seemed like good planning in that sense, but...
Well, Becca, this year you don't have to go to the Sheraton.
I don't?
No, because press badge pickup is in the Hyatt.
Still? Has it always, it's been in the Hyatt?
It's always been in the Hyatt, yeah.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
I'll probably, I have not had to go to the Sheraton for years now, y'all, but I still hike there and back with my friends because I feel like it's a sort of rite of passage every year at DragonCon. If they all have to do it, I have to do it.
The rite of passage is stopping at that liquor store on the way back.
Yes, but it's
which RIP liquor store.
We'll get into that in a minute. Along with, there's a bunch of new news for this year that's very pertinent. But yeah, so speaking of registration, boo, it's in the Sheraton still. So 4-day passes are the only ones still available online. They were selling Saturday and Sunday passes online through like the 18th. But like right now, and listen, like there's DragonCon, there's some excuse where it's like harder for them to deal with the paperwork end of things for people buying badges online right now. So as of a couple days ago or whatever, the price went from $140 to $160. But if you haven't bought your badge yet, you can buy it on site for $140. And like, if you bring cash, you can wait in the usually much faster cash line. Now, if the cash line is longer than the credit line, just use your credit card or debit card. I'm really confused as to why those.
I do think I heard somebody say, and this has always perplexed me too, Tara, but I think I actually heard the answer was something about sending it to the printers and something of their relationship with the printers who print the badges.
Oh, that makes
why
sense.
It's so confusing for them with the online setup versus the in-person when it comes down to the wire. I think already in a couple days they're going to send them to the printers. So
that makes sense. Yeah. That's why we don't, like for Ice and Firecon, we don't even print people's names on the badges. That may change in the future, but I mean, that's why we've been using stickers for years, because it's easier for us to spend, to get a few volunteers together and spend 20 minutes putting, and granted, we're much, much smaller. DragonCon can't do this. I get it.
Right.
But, it's easier for us to spend a bit of time putting stickers on the badges versus, having to. And
granted, it is still a wraparound sticker. This is not on the actual the actual pass, but yeah. Once again, when you have so many people, I mean, their anticipated this year was between 72 and 80. I mean, I don't know how much of that is counting the parade. I don't know if the buildings can physically fit 80,000 people.
No, they can't.
Maybe
now that they're in the America Mart.
Right. And the Hilton did have an upgrade, so maybe they can fit that many. But the one thing is that now, because there's so many, I guess a lot of things are on Thursday, which is why there are Thursday passes.
Yeah, which is so weird to me. For those of you who've not been to DragonCon before, there's always been events on Thursday night, but most of them, if they were official, they were like, I don't even know, like the Bunny Hutch, I guess, is beneficial for a while, but like a lot of the activities that go on Thursday night, even if they're advertised the whole time, they're not necessarily official. But
been, like events. There's been like parties, but not like an actual event.
Yeah. So it's a bit odd to me that they're doing, Thursday passes this year, that people would actually pay for just a Thursday pass.
I think it's more that they want to get the normal people out of the hotels, because Thursday night kind of like skimpy costume night. Like it's all the parties that involve skimpy costumes, and I have heard a lot of people complaining about, getting harassed on Thursday and not having issues other nights, but Thursday being especially bad with creepers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe
that's
the
true.
football people, the people who come for the football game and just want to come in to look at girls who are dressed scantily. I guess
I'm lucky because like I've never had an issue with the football people. I've actually had some of my best like rando conversations with people who were there for football and not for Dragon Con. Like I don't know why that is the case. Like I don't know how I'm that lucky. Because I know that it's true. I know that people have had tons of issues with random outsiders, including the football game attendees, whatever. I guess I've been lucky. Most of my Dragon Con issues have been with people who were there for Dragon Con.
I've had a few issues, but I think it was Dragon Con people too.
Yeah.
And once again, I didn't mean to single them out. That was just what I saw in media and what I heard from reports from other people I knew.
Do you remember
I didn't. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I didn't think about it like that. That it could just be that they want to get people out of the hotels.
In general.
It's a little bit of an annoyance because I'm used to not having to carry my badge with me Thursday night. But I'm okay with it. It's just now that I think about it, the more I think about it, I guess, the more I'm like chill with the fact that con is literally everybody's been saying Wednesday is the new Thursday for so long that we might as well start the con on Thursday officially.
I agree.
Even though the dates still say Friday, like the 1st or whatever.
But the store opens. The store is open on Thursday at 8 a.m. If you're going by that.
True.
And once again, if you look at the list, they Reddit posted a crowdsourced schedule, which is sort of all the ones that have been released separately, put together into a schedule. And if you kind of throw together just some of the major items, it's some significant stuff. You've got the wrestling. I heard they have like Ric Flair this year, which I guess is a throwback. And then you have the Bunny Hutch, the Labyrinth Ball, the 8-Bit Ball. There's Geek Trivia, and there's I think 4 or 5 panels. So, that's a good amount of stuff for Thursday night. It's much more than I remember in 2013. That's for sure.
Yeah. The wrestling stuff. I don't know if it's new, but I feel like
last year was the first year it was.
Okay. Yeah, like it's existed before, but I didn't think it would hit that on Thursday at all, if for very long.
Tara?
Yeah.
Look what I found in my bed.
In your bed.
It's closed. No, I've been working on my cosplays in my bed, and it's just my house sigil at this point. I'm just gonna wear a t-shirt that says House Becca.
Yeah, random aside, guys, be a good Dragon Con or just general convention / hotel roommate, and don't leave sewing needles and open safety pins all over the place.
Look, I've actually heard of someone having to be hospitalized because they stepped on a needle in their room.
Well, this is what I did recently. I know you can't really tell because
now we can see it.
Yeah, I slashed my palm open with a scalpel because I was using a scalpel instead of scissors to cut the lining out of my Elena jacket. And and I've also got second-degree burns on my hands. So it's
don't we all?
So anyway, yeah. So Thursday passes are a thing. Is now that. Since Wednesday's been the new Thursday for a while, now Wednesday is Thursday. So Wednesday is Wednesday. So is Tuesday the new Wednesday? That's what I want to know. I think it'll be years before that is the case, but I do know.
I'm guessing next year.
Yeah. I know a good amount of people who have been coming on Tuesday for a couple years now. So I feel like that number is going to grow. This year I'm getting there midday Wednesday and staying until Tuesday morning. So, and honestly, that's probably what I'm going to do next year too. Mostly because I don't feel like checking out of the hotel on Mondays anymore. But anyway, so next I wanted to get into like new stuff for 2017. And when I say new stuff, I mean like general new stuff that is important for people who even have been attending DragonCon for a long time, because there have been several changes pretty recently, that people are going to have to deal with. This one isn't a big deal, but it's just kind of a thing that people may not know. I know that there have been people who have often just gone, to the MARTA stations in the Atlanta airport and refilled their blue Breeze cards to get to and from downtown. You can't use those anymore. So if you have a blue Breeze card that you've been refilling for God knows how long at the airport in Atlanta, like shoot, I think I still have one, even though I haven't used it in a very, very long time. But if you have a blue one, you might as well just throw it out because you're going to have to purchase a new gray one. It's like $2. It's like any, public transportation. They changed the pass. So now you just buy a new card and load it up with your fare. I know that the past couple of years, people have tended to take Uber or Lyft from the airport.
Which is reported to be a hot mess this year.
Yep.
Yeah, I know I shared the link in the DragonCon Facebook group, and I'm sure like Ashley and Keith, Ashley, you've been driving me. Keith, have you been taking Uber or do you take the MARTA?
I took the MARTA twice, so I think.
There's my dog.
Yeah, MARTA twice, and I took a cab one year too, and I don't recall that being a problem. I think I walked out.
No, they changed it just within the past.
Even the cabs are pushed.
No.
When you
left,
it was fine. I walked out the door and I got a cab.
And this is part of the broader movement to hate on Uber and Lyft. I mean, for the longest time, even here in Orlando locally, Uber wasn't allowed to pick up from the airport. Now they are, but in a designated area that's further, and they have to charge more. So Atlanta is doing something like that to try to discriminate against Uber and Lyft and incentivize cabs. So I mean, once again, it's going to be messy.
Supposedly they're like the city is or the city and or the airport or the government, whatever. Somebody in the article that I read, they're claiming that it's due to massive construction around the airport and how like having all the ride shares and the cabs picking up in the same place was just too much or whatever. I mean, again, I don't know how true that is or how much of an excuse it is.
That's not an issue.
But for people who have in the recent past, the past couple years, because I think Uber and Lyft have been running from the Atlanta airport since 2015. So if you've been taking those, just be aware that now you have to walk all the way to the economy lot. It's hard, I can't explain to you how to get there now, but it's a hike. You have to walk like across the, out of the terminal or whatever, across a road. There's crosswalks obviously, and through a parking garage, and then go down like to the ground to the economy lot. And if you've got a bunch of luggage, you don't want to do that. Just take the MARTA. Especially, I mean, even I've kind of always said if you're going during rush hour, you might as well take the MARTA anyway, because otherwise you're likely to get stuck in traffic for an hour or more. But yeah,
what?
The downtown traffic there, it's horrible.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and also I'm hearing that whatever they did, and I don't know if it's going to be fixed prior to DragonCon, but whatever they did when they moved the pickup, they like didn't handle it properly. And I saw a post on Reddit where somebody was saying like during busy times, people are having to wait upwards of an hour for a ride share, which is insane.
Yeah, and I think all of us here, right, at some point or another, have taken MARTA even for a short distance. I mean, it's
No.
Oh, Becky, you haven't? Okay. Well, it's pretty reliable, safe, cheap. I've never had any issues with MARTA. I've taken it out of all this will be 5, so I've taken it 4 years for various reasons. So I mean, I've never had any issues with MARTA.
Yeah, I've not taken it to DragonCon or whatever, but I've taken it around like outside of Atlanta, like outside of downtown before and whatnot. And I've never had an issue and it drops off at the Peachtree Center, which is like it's basically right next to the Hyatt. So, so yeah, it's at this point, it's probably your easiest, safest, bet to just grab MARTA and not worry about how long it's like maybe people won't have to wait as long for Uber or Lyft, but I feel like right now it's a chance that some people may not want to take.
Yeah, I was just wondering, is there a sweet spot of like the amount of bags you have where like you feel like you have too many for MARTA, but you have enough for a cab, you know? So I don't know though. I feel like if I'm flying, I'm not bringing, 6 bags.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what airline you're flying. I would assume most people aren't bringing more than 2 checked bags and a carry-on, but
Right.
or 2 carry-ons and a checked bag, but you never know.
With your experience taking MARTA with big suitcases, easy, hard?
Again, like I took MARTA twice, and I think I've had 2 suitcases both years, and it wasn't a problem at all. It wasn't that. I guess maybe it had to do with the times I arrived too, because I think both times
early.
Yeah, kind of early. I want to say like I went like 9 or 10, and it wasn't bad at all.
So after morning rush hour, before lunch rush hour, I guess.
And even when it's rush hour, I did it once during rush hour, and the people were accommodating. They saw me with bags. They didn't, they made up some space. I mean, people in Atlanta are generally friendly, so I mean, it's not New York. They're not going to try to shove you off. No offense to New Yorkers out there.
I mean, I think people in Atlanta, they know Dragon Con.
Yeah.
And they're, I mean, honestly, it brings so much money to the city that I get that there's probably some locals who hate it, but all right. So other things that have changed, the only other thing I noted and you guys may know other things. I know, Andrew, you've read up on some stuff. The only other thing I noted is that they're big warning, the liquor store across from the Sheraton is closed.
Single
Sad
tear.
face. Yeah. Really, I mean, honestly, I've always brought my own stuff to Dragon Con because I've always driven. So it's never been a thing for me, but it's sad that place, it's existed forever. I mean, as long as I've been going to Dragon Con
I feel like every Dragon Con is when they're making their year's worth of money.
Yes.
That we can alone
Seriously.
survive.
It is the Halloween store of booze.
It's like this really tiny store, like a corner, almost like the size of a gas station, and it's just like Dragon Con weekend. It's packed.
I have some very good memories at that liquor store of running out of a certain type of booze, going there to get it, paying way too much, cursing about it, but ending up having a good time because I bought that booze.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. And I actually, there is a liquor store pretty close, a block and a half away. It's on a corner. I feel like I've been there once, and it's on a corner, and it's on Peachtree, but it is very tiny. The selection is it's smaller than the one by the Sheraton. The selection is even more limited, and it's expensive, more expensive than the Sheraton one is. So,
Is this the one that we were going to do street shots outside of, Keith? And they told us that we couldn't do that. The police officer said no street shots.
no,
That was CBS.
yeah, that was outside of the CVS.
Oh.
Street shot!
Street shot.
This isn't
Speaking
Vegas
of
or New
which,
Orleans, guys.
Now, my birthday's in 3 days, and I'm celebrating at Dragon Con. I expect everybody to plan accordingly.
I feel like half my friends' birthdays are around this time. They're either right before, during, or right after Dragon Con.
Way to cheapen my birthday, Tara. Jeez.
I mean, I'm a Leo, so
Not
I'm
really.
close, but not that close.
So yeah, R.I.P. The little Sheraton across from the Sheraton liquor
I think
store.
it was called the Soul.
It was Saul's.
Yeah, Saul's.
Yes, Saul's. I always felt like it was the guy's name, but I guess it could have been Soul son. It was SOL''S.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this where we got the first year we went and we were all dressed up as, I know Keith was wearing his Muldoon.
It's we
that one, or is
stopped.
that-
We stopped there, and we stopped at the CVS as per the.
No. I mean, is that the one that's closed though? The one that we
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, has anybody else heard of any other big things that are new, changed for this year?
I would just mention, I sort of mentioned it in passing, but the Parking Panda thing that works for the Hyatt, that is already actually sold out of their 5-day parking passes already. So if anyone wants to do that, that's for the garages and such in the neighborhood of the Hyatt. It's not the most affordable. It's actually pretty expensive. I think the 4-day pass, which is the one they have left, is I think it is, I wrote it down, $61, and a 2-day pass is $31. That's expensive. It's less expensive than paying $35 a day for valet, but there are better options. Once again, you can park at the MARTA station. That's nothing new, but the app is something new for this year, and it's already pretty much sold out. So that tells you what you can expect for DragonCon in terms of size. So.
Yeah. I know somebody, I was going back and forth with somebody recently about whether or not any of the hotels allowed self-parking. Supposedly the Marriott does, but I mean, I don't know that because I haven't checked, like I haven't stayed at the Marriott, but I know that the Hyatt, I've been checking in on Wednesday since 2013, and I've never had them not force me to use valet.
Marriott attendee last year did not have the option. We actually asked explicitly, can we drive ourselves in a self-park? They did not give us that option. So, I mean, maybe if I insisted or something, but.
We're at the new hotel that they opened.
Hotel Indigo.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see how it is and see how it goes.
I've stayed at Hotel Indigos before, and they're really nice, especially for, I mean, granted, the Hotel Indigo for DragonCon weekend is, I'm sure, way more expensive than it normally is. But usually they're a very affordable option if you want to stay somewhere like for a good price that's still a really nice hotel. And last year they had just opened like a month or less before DragonCon. So it's still a really new hotel. And it's a perfect location because it's right there on Peachtree, between the Westin and the Hyatt. So,
yeah.
I mean, really, like at this point, the biggest perks of staying at a host hotel are if you're in the Hyatt or the Marriott or the Hilton, they're all connected by habit trails, and of course, you get DragonCon TV. But now that's another new thing. You can get DragonCon TV. You can subscribe to it. It's like $10 or something.
Was that last year as well? I forget. I think it
existed last year, but it was in beta, so it was like really limited. They hadn't figured out what all they were going to put on it yet and stuff. So they definitely they're opening it up to more people, and it's going to have a lot more content this year. So like if you aren't staying at a host hotel and DragonCon TV is like one of the reasons you really wanted to, you can pay $10 and
I don't know. I think it's pretty entertaining, Tara. I mean, considering they are all volunteers, they put in a lot of work into those, black screen quotes they put up, which always tend to make me laugh really hard.
No, I love DragonCon TV.
Okay, I'll be hard on it.
No, I'm not like hating on DragonCon TV at all. I love DragonCon TV. I've known people who have literally said like that's the most disappointing thing about not getting a host hotel is not having DragonCon TV. That I don't understand.
Sure.
Honestly, like my opinion is like if you're a cosplayer, that's the main reason you want a host hotel because costumes and travel not good. But honestly, otherwise, like there's another pocket of hotels, where the Holiday Inn Express was and everything. Like honestly, I'd say if you weren't worried about costumes, you would just try to get those hotels. It'll save so much money and so much hassle. It's just like if you're a cosplayer, that's when you want to be able to get to your room quickly for shoe changes, costume changes, what have you.
Yeah.
My transition to from not cosplaying to cosplaying is correlated with how close I stayed to the con. Yeah. The more costumes I had, the closer to the con I wanted to stay until I am in the heart of the beast now. So it tells you where I'm at.
I still, I like. It would be cool to stay in the Marriott, but I'm super happy with the Hyatt because I've been staying there for years and years, and B, it's just it's a little bit more chill. It's easier to get in and out. It's easier to get to my room, even with the crappy Hyatt elevator situation. But yeah, like the Marriott would definitely be like a close second choice if I wasn't.
I stayed in the Marriott once. I enjoyed it, but we were on a floor that you could use the stairs for, so I think that probably helped us with that.
Same here.
Tell them you have really bad vertigo. You can get a lower level floor.
And I put it in my like Marriott, requests, automatic, so it's always low floor for me.
There are tricks. I feel bad telling people this. I kind of want to keep them to myself.
Exactly.
There are tricks to getting the lower floors.
The biggest one is show up early.
That helps too. Come in on Wednesday and ask.
Yeah. All right, so moving on from like new stuff for 2017. How How's that app going?
Oh, drink!
All right, now that we've all taken
Okay, but
I've taken a healthy swig.
Yeah, but seriously though, there is the crowdsourced schedule is really good. They did a really good job. I actually kind of went through and looked at some of the things, and they've put most of the things in there right now. And I think the folks who were responsible for making the app said that they should have it out, at least 5 or 6 days before the con. But don't hold it.
Which is just crazy. Like, I listen. I at this point. It's so much. If you're a member of the Facebook groups or follow the Facebook pages for the tracks that you're most interested in, and then like Andrew, you mentioned earlier, somebody on Reddit is, and I saw this as well. Someone on Reddit is crowdsourcing, a schedule. Like, you can get certain individual track schedules like a couple weeks, like 2 to 4 weeks in advance.
Some 4 weeks ago. I mean,
Yeah,
I've had it for 2.5 weeks for some. I mean,
yeah, I've had it for like 4 for I think as a panelist I've had it for about 4. Of course, it's always
Right.
subject to change, but so it is easier to get those certain track schedules now that pretty much all of the tracks have active Facebook groups and or pages. I remember like 2013, 2014, a lot of them didn't. And like, I mean, honestly, even now, some of their Twitters haven't been updated in a year or more.
Yes.
Some of their
Don't even try using the DragonCon webpage.
The track websites, some of them are just like lead to dead links. Some of them haven't been updated since 2014. It's crazy. And I know it's
shocking.
like I run like 4 websites. I know it's hard. It's time consuming to update one, let alone all those tracks, or to update only one, whatever. But I don't know, man. That's what volunteers are for. Utilize your volunteers.
And there's no reason why when we get this, it can't have tentative, dates and everything else in the progress report. Just tells you a major highlight. I mean, that was something I really was disappointed about the progress report, was that you didn't get a basic backbone of, okay, here are the major things we have that we can tell you that reliably happen almost every year, and we can tell you what date they're on.
Like the track parties, those I feel like are big events that would be scheduled well ahead of time because they use the biggest rooms and whatnot. And they're still kind of waiting for a party.
It used to be really easy to figure out when, and at least when the track parties were going to be, if not where. But no, I think like a couple years ago is when they started changing everything. But before that, the track parties were the same nights and the same places every year for years on end. I mean, and even now, like the Zombie Prom. Okay, the Apocalypse Rising track has been in the Westin for as long as I've been going to DragonCon, which is since 2012. So, the Zombie Prom is always in the Westin, and it's always on Friday night, and that still hasn't changed. They have a new DJ this year. Their former DJ, who they've used for a long time, couldn't make it to DragonCon for some reason. Is nothing bad or anything. Just this year could not make it. And because I'm on a couple panels with the track, I had been like really closely following their Facebook and everything, and I saw that they were looking for a DJ. So I got the wonderful girl Shannon, who runs the Apocalypse Rising track, in touch with my friend Adam, who has done after parties for MegaCon Tampa Bay and Tampa Bay Comic-Con down here. And so he's going to be DJing the Zombie Prom, which I actually may go to the Zombie Prom for a bit this year just to support my buddy who's DJing it. But he's really good. So I'm super excited because the DragonCon DJs for a long time have been, it's like they use the same people every year, and a lot of them are kind of
and all the parties sound the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I kind of mentioned that to Adam. So, and I had a blast. Like I said, I went to the MegaCon Tampa last year after party and had a blast. Like he did some of the stuff that you're used to hearing at convention parties, like the remixes with the nerdy songs and stuff. But like as a whole, it was just it was better than most of the parties I've been to at DragonCon, like music.
And you say it's at the Westin?
Yes, yeah.
See, the Westin ones are my favorite. I think that has like the best kind of party atmosphere. I don't know.
The heroes. When they moved the heroes and villains one there, I was like, at first I was unsure about it, but like I've had a good time at the Heroes and Villains Ball
And
the past
that
couple
has
years.
been tentatively confirmed for Saturday at the Westin. So
Okay.
that is one of the ones that's tentatively confirmed, along with a couple others. You know,
I'm so excited for Saturday.
On Friday. I know that, but
big one is the Mechanical Masquerade Steampunk one. I usually hit up that is at the Sheridan. It's confirmed to be at the Sheridan.
Yep.
So this will be my first time back going.
Bunny Hutch is at the Hilton.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Was it there? It wasn't there last year.
No, it was at the Marriott.
They moved it to a bigger room at the Hilton.
If it's
but let's be real.
that's awesome.
I mean, let's be real, guys. Like, we went into the Bunny Hutch party for like 20 minutes, if that last year.
Yeah.
So, like, it's really one of those walk in and make an appearance because you're in a Bunny Hutch costume, and then go fucking find your friends and drink.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like we got a shot for the competition this year if we get our whole group together.
Oh yeah.
We have a lot of people. Yeah, we're doing good this year.
I'm still trying to get Rachel to do Clove.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk after the webcast, but yeah, so we'll talk more. There's more to say about parties or whatever, and like I'm frustrated with the fact that I am a little frustrated with the fact that the app is so late coming out. Like this year and last year were so much later than every previous year. The first year I had the app, I can't remember if it was 2012 or 2013, but it was out like almost a month in advance. It was.
Yes.
It was the second weekend in August at the latest. It was at least 3 weeks, and I think it was longer. I think it was like 3.5 to 4.
So right. So we keep having to. Oh, sorry.
No, it's like, but they don't know we have costumes to schedule around events. Come on.
Exactly. And it's like there's all these secondary resources because the app is failing, right? There's the DragonCon Parties website. There's this like I said, this Reddit list. There's the Reddit user who did the grouping of the vendors by type. There's all these people who are going out and crowdsourcing these things because the app is just failing to come through on time. That's all it is.
Well, and the vendor hall, we'll talk about that later because that's like
I'm not going there this year. That's my 1 year. I'm not going.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, if you're looking for a schedule, do not look for the app anytime soon. It probably won't be out until literally the week of the convention. But like we've talked about, you can find the crowdsourced 2017 schedule on the DragonCon subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/DragonCon. And if you can't see the link immediately, the easiest way is to just search for 2017 schedule or crowdsource schedule in the search function on the subreddit, and it'll come up.
Right now, it's on page 2. Right now.
Yeah. So right now it's on page 2. So and it's hard because there's so much going on in that sub right now. Obviously, if you don't want to look for it, just do a quick search. It's super easy. Photo shoots. I don't know. I haven't participated in big photo shoots much the past couple of years. I think I went to one last year, or I went to one in a costume for that photo shoot. Another one I went to just to see it. But if you're looking for photo shoots, check out the DragonCon group photo shoots Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/DCon photos. The only ones I know of right now are a 1 p.m. photo shoot on Friday in Hardy Ivy Park, which is outside of the Hyatt on Peachtree, and that's a Game of Thrones photo shoot. And then I know there's one on Sunday that's Feminist Icons, and that's also at 1 p.m. on Sunday at Hardy Ivy. And
then we have the 100 DragonCon costume meetup September the 2nd, so that's Saturday at 1. It's going to be the 100. We did it last year. We have buttons. It's going to be cool. And then immediately after the photo shoot, we're going to the panel for the 100 actors.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. I'm still working on my cosplay.
I can't find it right now, but they do have a Google document that has, a nice Excel spreadsheet, which all the photo shoots, all the times, every single day. It's very well laid out if you want to know. Last year, I didn't have a strong cosplay lineup, and then I looked at the photo shoots page and was like, oh, okay, I have a costume for that. I'll bring that one. I have a costume for that. I'll bring that one. So it really helps you out with the planning of your cosplay.
Yeah, and it's in that group. It's in the
and they keep it updated.
Yeah, it's. I hate the way that they still have it named Dragon *Con,
which is not the legal name.
Well, it's an unofficial page, right? So, Dragon Con people, again, not on top of the shit.
Yeah, it just kills me that people still refuse to get rid of that effing asterisk, you guys. Like, it's been a bad idea for a while. Get rid of it. And it's been not part of the name for a while. Get rid of it. But yeah, no, it's facebook.com/groups/DCon photos. You can also just search for it on Facebook, Dragon *Con group photo shoots. And the pinned post is the link to that Google Doc. So, I mean, there's a huge Wonder Woman photo shoot, got at 9:30 Friday morning. Don't ask me why. I guess Wonder Women get up super early. I know the Battlestar one is always Sunday morning at 10 on the steps at the back of the Hilton. There's also there's the Game of Thrones one at 1 o'clock on Friday at Hardy Ivy. And there's also a really big Game of Thrones one Saturday. And that's like Saturday, and that's at the Hilton on the steps, and that's like Saturday evening. I want to say 5 or 5:30.
I think it's
5. No,
5.
6. It's a 6.
Oh wow, that's really late this year. But I think that might be the only one I can make this year.
yeah, I won't be making that. So yeah, and there's too many to like actually list. But
what it looks like.
Yeah, but they've got a whole ton of them. On that document in the pin post in the Dragon Con group photo shoots Facebook.
There's a Princess Leia photo shoot. That'll be neat.
Aw. They're also doing a Carrie Fisher tribute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they did one of those at San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't get to see it, but I don't think I could. I don't think I should. I'd be crying.
Yeah. That happened to me after Monty died for Ruby. I couldn't go to the photo shoot that I was dressed up for. I was just like, I'm going to start crying and it won't be bad.
But yeah, so that's the group photo shoots page. Other stuff. So this is kind of like a tips and tricks. The big thing is like avoid con crud. At the very least, avoid getting sick at the convention. If you haven't already, start taking your vitamin C and multivitamins now. You can do and or, but personally, I think that at least 2 weeks before the convention, if you can start taking both multivitamins and vitamin C, if you don't take one or the other regularly, you should, like before this convention.
They're called like Cold FX, or there's like a knockoff brand that I usually take, but it's, like cold, it's immune booster. I take those at cons, and it, usually I'm safe if I do that, and if I don't, not so safe.
The one thing I would suggest, the Airborne is the best known version. I can't stand the powder stuff that you put in water. Like it grosses me out so much. Like I've forced myself to drink it at conventions and stuff so many times, but I hate it. It's like gag reflex for me. So I looked into the gummies instead. So I was at CVS and I'm looking at the gummies, and there's like, 4 or 5 different brands. And there's the ones that are like, if you're already sick, you take these. And since I am already sick, I was looking at those. And then there's like prevent sickness, you take these. If you're already sick and want to prevent getting sick again, take these. There's so many different kinds. So I'm looking at all of them, and I'll be real, the off-brand ones did not have as much vitamin C. It was the same serving amount, and like, yes, it's $5-6 less for the jar, but it's like, and they have, let's say it's 50 or 60 gummies instead of 45, but they, in a serving of 3 gummies, it's like 500 milligrams or whatever it is of vitamin C, versus the emergency one is like 1,000. per
Right.
serving. So for the same serving amount, you're getting less of the vitamins that you need. So really, like, look at those labels and pay attention, because like the off brands, yes, they are totally worth it. Like the powdered stuff, the CVS powdered stuff that's the same thing as Airborne, it's the exact same thing. But like the gummies definitely weren't. So definitely be careful about what, and also the ones that say prevent, or the ones that say to like ease symptoms or whatever, they didn't have the vitamins. They were just like medicated gummies. And they're in the same like thing. So you think, oh, this is like, if I'm not feeling that great, but also want to have the vitamins, it'll do that for me because it's right in the middle of all these emergency, like, prevent getting sick gummies. No, they just like help with the symptoms that you already have. Very, very questionable.
On the subject of pills and whatnot, I work nights. So one thing I do take a lot of is vitamin E, which is it's basically what you get from the sun. No, vitamin D, sorry.
Yeah, vitamin D.
D, yeah.
Yeah. And it really makes a difference. I find that if, for DragonCon, you're staying up all night, not necessarily sleeping
Getting outside.
properly, all that stuff, you're working on your cosplays beforehand, that I do find really helps you in the morning, keeping you kind of in check with your cycle, I guess, is vitamin D helps. Oh, yes, and protein bars is another big thing. You're probably not eating proper protein while you're at DragonCon. And protein gives you a lot of energy. So I always try to pack a few protein bars. Usually I just eat one in the morning, and it'll give you at least a daily dose.
Like snack-wise, nuts are a lot of different. If you're not allergic, obviously, a lot of different types of nuts are really good for really pistachios are one of the best. For what they pack in protein and fiber and other vitamins. They're expensive, but yeah. A++.
Also protein, I'm not sure, a lot of people like have feelings about protein shakes. You can buy Premier Protein. They're like this big. I drink them for breakfast in the morning because I'm always late for work. Down the road, but the chocolate one's really good. The vanilla tastes like butts, but the chocolate's really good. You can pick them up in grocery stores, Walmart's, whatever, and it's like 30 grams of protein, like 2 grams of sugar, and it's mostly milk protein. And also I discovered that there are these things that are they're milk protein chips, and they're kind of gross, but they seriously, like, they really help. Like, they're crunchy and they're salty, so that helps me with my cravings. And there's like 5 grams of carbs or something in them, and that also fills me up pretty good too.
Yeah, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize is how young protein is. Like, when I used to diet, I'd cut out protein as well when I'm trying to lose weight, and then I'm like hungry all the time. And then my newest diet is cutting out carbs and filling it with protein, and it is so much healthier for you.
Yeah,
it's great. Ignore the protein fat content. It's good fat.
Yeah. Don't do low cal or low carb.
Yeah.
You will regret it seriously.
Well, low protein is big for if you if you have crashes, it's protein that is going to help you, not sugar. It is protein that's going to help you come back from those crashes.
Drink a lot of water. Seriously.
Yeah. The water in Atlanta is really like not that bad either. Like it's city water. It is what it is, but it's not Florida water. So there's that.
Come on.
I hate Florida.
Greenville water is delicious.
I've been lucky. I've lived places with great water like all my life, but Florida water is so gross, guys. It's just gross.
It's not that bad.
It's because haven't you lived here forever?
Yes.
You don't want to lose a day from a hangover. So drink your water, eat your meal.
And also, buying all the sanitary items and all this other pills, vitamins, and stuff beforehand, because some places are evil and mark them up. I mean, CVS doesn't, but CVS gets rated hard on the first day, so you're going to walk into barren shelves. They cannot stock those fast enough.
Yeah.
So
don't take anything for the first time at DragonCon. You don't know how your system will react to stuff. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you've never taken this type of pill before, maybe not. Maybe do it now and see how you react. You don't want to have a bad reaction at DragonCon.
Along with the like vitamin C and multivitamins, my big thing the past couple of years, and I forgot to last year for DragonCon, but I think our other roommate who normally brings it forgot to bring antibacterial push hand soap. like Dial antibacterial push hand soap, hand sanitizer too, if you're so inclined, for bringing around with you,
Heck, I like to bring
the
my
day.
own toilet paper because I hate hotel toilet paper.
Yeah,
I did that too last year. It was very...
but the push antibacterial hand soap is like a huge thing for me. Like I'm really weird. I don't want to say I'm OCD because I don't actually have OCD, but I am like very weird about my hands feeling dirty. Like even if I haven't touched anything, after like an hour or an hour and a half or so, I'll start, if it's hot out and everything, even if I've been careful about touching like handrails and stuff, I start feeling gross, and I'll walk into a bathroom just to wash my hands. So just keep washing your hands. And Becca, I think were you the one who added Lysol wipes?
Yeah, bring Lysol wipes. Also, this doesn't really have anything to do, but like, I really hate to say this, and this doesn't really need to be said, but please wear deodorant.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, that's like
also.
Yeah,
like shower. Like I know it's gonna be tough. I know it's gonna be hard. Like you can't eat and shower in the same day. Fuck it. You don't need to wear that costume. Like, please, for the love of God, shower and eat. Also,
if you're wearing body paint, seal that shit.
Yeah, seal it, please. We don't want green handprints on our butts or on the walls or anywhere. Speaking of green, because I'm gonna be painting green, that's the reason why. But no, bring Febreze with you. Also Tide pens, bleach pens. But definitely the Lysol wipes, Lysol spray.
I'm going to say I have actually gone to a con and discovered when I got to the con that my cat had peed in my suitcase.
Oh my God!
Bringing cleaning stuff. It's an idea because
like my travel tip, which I think kind of helps in some cases for that, I use it just generally when I'm going anywhere, is bringing garbage bags or plastic bags to kind of segregate some of your dirty and clean stuff.
Yeah.
So that even if you're in a limited space, even if you only have a small space, and even if you have to put stuff back in your bag, you've got a way to segregate. So, and it's real easy. You just need a trash bag. Like it works anytime you're going anywhere, especially a con.
Yeah. Bringing like at least a handful of trash bags is like I've been doing that forever. I think since it was 2013, I had my roommates were great, but there was one thing that they weren't great about, and that was there was always somebody in the room when housekeeping came, so they kept turning them away to the point where all of our room trash cans, which of course are teeny tiny, were overflowing. And then like rather than call, like I was hardly in the room that year. So like I would get back to the room and everybody would be there and had been there for hours except for me, and there's trash overflowing everywhere and nobody's called housekeeping to ask them to clean up. And it's just bring trash bags, bring Ziploc bags for your clothes and stuff, bring I usually just pack like grocery bags to pack, just throw dirty clothes in.
If you're kind of new to hotel life, if you put your trash in the hallway, they'll pick it up. No questions asked. They won't even knock on your door. They'll just pick it up. So
But don't be an asshole and just pile your trash in the hallway.
Put it in a bag.
Put it in a bag. Tie it up.
But once again, it illustrates it illustrates they're multi-use. These bags can be used for a lot of things.
Like as a cosplayer, you don't want people going into your room cleaning because it's like, no, don't throw that out. Don't move this stuff because glue could be setting, what have you.
Yeah.
Everything goes wrong in cosplay. So I know a lot of time you don't want room service coming into your room. So that's an idea. Just, bring your own trash bags, leave it in the hall.
And what I did too, I kind of took bits and pieces from like Tara and from our another girl, Lauren, packing bags individually of cosplays. And then once the cosplay is done, put it all back in the bag again and seal it up. Like even tiny trash bags, like that's what I did for Harley Quinn. I just, last year for MegaCon, I just put everything in a trash bag and just like stuffed it on my suitcase, and it was all there. Like,
yeah, I use the drawers in the hotel rooms. No one ever uses the drawers. I'm just like, I'm getting rid of the suitcase. There's a spot in the closet overhead. Once you can empty your suitcase out, put the suitcase up there, so clearing a pathway so you can actually get to your bag.
Yeah, like I drive to DragonCon, so I just bring a bunch of like small-ish, like couple foot long, like duffel, foot and a half tall duffel bags, and each bag is 1 day's worth of cosplay. If you're flying, obviously you can't do that, but honestly, more recently, for when I was going to Comic-Con, I bought, and it was Amazon Prime Day happened like a couple weeks before Comic-Con. I bought those like, I don't know what they're called. They're like organizational things for suitcase packing. There's a name for them.
Cubes?
Cube things, yeah, but they're not hard cubes. They're like different size.
Organizational cubes.
Yeah, they're different sizes and everything. And I bought a set of those, and it was like the best thing I did for Comic-Con, because I had underwear in one, bras in one, socks in one, shirts in one, and it just like I knew where each thing was at the beginning of every day. So like if you're flying and you can't do a bunch of bags, then you can buy those. And obviously like plastic bags or trash bags work the same and are generally at the time cheaper. But these things are really nice in terms of, keeping things separate and everything. So if you have the extra $30 or whatever to spare and when I'm saying $30, then with that, you're getting a huge set, like probably 10 of the different size cube things. It's really worth it.
Your cubes?
Coming in on Wednesday is a big bonus, because if you have stuff that needs to be ironed, if you're thinking of, hey, I don't need it ironed today, I'll just do it the day of. No, it's not happening.
Yeah.
If you leave your Saturday night cosplay to Saturday night to iron, it's not getting ironed.
Yeah.
Oh, ironing. Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
I was going to say, this is like probably a hack that doesn't work as well for female characters cosplay, but one of my like secret hacks is to make backpacks part of my cosplay, and therefore use them in double duty for packing as well. But I mean, maybe that's me overthinking things.
Well, we do that for shoes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. The ones that I have, and there are a ton of different, brand names. There's even like Amazon, there's like an Amazon version that are cheaper and stuff. The ones I have are e-bags packing cubes. And I got a 6-piece set for granted, I got it on Prime Day, so I got it for like $20 right now. It's $50. Right. But like if you go with there's Travel Wise is another one. They're a little bit, that might be the Amazon one. TravelWise is one of the cheaper ones, but they still have good reviews. I mean, we're talking 1,300 reviews on Amazon, and it's 4.5 stars, and you get a 5-piece set for $23. So there's a lot of different brands and everything you can look into.
I'm looking at it now.
They're really worth it. Just be careful that the sizes of the set you're getting are pretty good. Like the one I got, because it was a Prime deal, it wasn't necessarily the best sizes. Like it wasn't the ones I would have chosen otherwise, but it was worth it at the time. So yeah, those packing cubes are great especially if you're flying.
Southwest.
Also randomly, I have heard via a friend who may or may not be a volunteer at DragonCon that the app will be updated early next week, and it was that information was sent out this morning. So I don't know if they mean early this coming week or the week.
I think they mean next week, because I mean that fits the like 4 or 5 day timeline they were throwing out. So.
So anyway, so yeah, the other thing that we kind of touched on, if you can do your shopping at home, if you're flying and you can't, totally understandable, do it as soon as possible. Like do it Wednesday if you're flying in Wednesday. If you're flying in Thursday, honestly, do it before you go get your badge, because like I know that we've been to CVS like midday Thursday and they've been out of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many years that has happened to me.
And some of those things being like trash bags, solo cups.
Solo cups are gone immediately. I mean,
So yeah, that's another thing. Solo cups, bring from home if you can. Plastic, silverware. There's a word for it. Plastic utensils, whatever. Plastic utensils. Paper plates or bowls, those types of things. Like if you can bring it from home, bring it from home. If you can't, go to the CVS or whatever closest place to your specific hotel that sells that stuff. It's probably the CVS on Peachtree, and get it as soon as possible. Like really. So yeah, other than that, I think, does anybody else have like other like tips or tricks stuff that we want to share before we get into really like specific?
Dance belts are selling for $23 on Amazon as well. I mean,
We don't want to see your dick.
Yeah.
Sorry, the amount of memes I saw were just outstanding.
No, I laughed at this one comment of this guy saying, it's like, yeah, but if you get an erection, it really hurts. It's like, yeah, but if you get an erection in a spandex suit, is that really what you want to be doing?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, dance belts are so. Also, this is everything.
Okay, no, if you don't know what we're talking about, a dance belt is a bra for your junk.
To be,
You have to wear bras.
to be fair, I did not know before this year. I have just found out what this is. So.
Really?
Yes, this is my first year knowing.
So every penis, every awkward penis print that you've seen as Spider-Man. It's always by a dance. It's always Spider-Man. It's always fucking Spider-Man. See, I feel like Deadpool. I feel like Deadpool could get away with no dance belt. Because, like, no, I really do. Like, if I saw somebody who was Deadpool and was not wearing a dance belt, I would be like, okay, like it makes sense. But Spider-Man, no, wrap it, please. I don't want to see it.
If you're wearing boxer briefs and you think that's enough, it's
not. No. Trust me.
No.
You could see every little bump and every ridge and every little vein. Don't do it, dude. Don't.
And just remember, there are children, so they're at that eye level. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah, exactly.
And that description, Becca, is probably why talk of this was banned from the official Dragon Con.
We're not the official Dragon Con anything.
Exactly.
We're a webcast full of people drinking.
That's true.
At least for the most part. Are we all drinking?
Yes.
I've been kind of limiting myself for Dragon Con. Because I've been on so many like different medicines, or whatever. But like I'm drinking now, and
it's Game of Thrones night, so guys.
This is also the night that I told Scott Lovesy that I was not going to be sober for because I heard spoilers, and I was like, I'm just gonna get drunk and pretend to not. While I'm talking, another thing, ironing. If you cannot iron your clothes, hang them up in the shower whenever it's running hot, and it'll help release some of the wrinkles.
Especially if you have a wrinkle release, spray the wrinkle release on it and then hang it up in the bathroom for like, if you have people taking back-to-back showers, that's the best time to do it. Because it'll take more than one 20-minute shower.
Makes a spray bottle. It's like this big. It's like $2 or $3. Like you just spray it on there, hang it up in the shower and like shake it a couple of times. Not in the shower, but like in the room, and shake it a couple of times, and then it's good. So just something to consider if you wait.
And if you're worried about your fabric, or you made your cosplay and you don't know what heat it can handle, just put a towel over top of it.
Yeah,
good trick. Because there are some fabrics that you're kind of iffy. I've ruined a part of my cosplay ironing it and realizing, this is high. Don't want to do that. Put a towel on it.
Yeah, I've burned some stuff too.
So yeah, anything else, guys, before we get into?
I think we're ready for panels. I think that's.
So we're gonna talk 2017. Yay! Okay, so again, like at this point, I guess things are still technically subject to change, but I don't think they will.
It's subject to change till you sit in the seat in the panel. Really,
yeah.
If it comes down to it.
I think the latest I've ever had anything change was like 2 weeks out, so I think we're probably good. But. I say that, and I think that my panel schedule might have changed slightly as of today. We'll get into that in a minute. So Friday, does anybody? Because Andrew and I are both on panels on Friday, but does anybody else know of anything going on or anything you're
schedule because the app's not out?
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not just me, because I was wow, I should really figure out what the hell I'm doing for Dragon Con. And then I saw everybody else was like, the schedule's not out. And I was like, well. As a reporter, though, like, I kind of have to schedule everything around my interviews. If I get them, which probably, may not happen. But, everything is literally scheduled around interviews for press.
Yeah.
And they should be finalizing those the next couple days. I mean, I think 21st is the cutoff, right?
We no, like the 15th was the cutoff for applications.
The 18th was.
Is it the 18th? Okay, but the latest I've gotten an interview schedule was like 3 days before Dragon Con.
Do you remember last year we
So-
were still waiting on interview schedule stuff and we never got him, and we were like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So as press, this is just kind of an insight into press things for Dragon Con. You can be approved for interviews. Each outlet gets up to 10 requests, 10 interview requests. So if an outlet, you can max request. You can request 10 interviews, but depending on who you request, they may or may not be doing interviews at all. They may say, I'll do an interview, but I'll only do it with major news networks, which would be like, the local news, like CNN is huge at Dragon Con. You wouldn't think it, but because they're Atlanta based, they are. That type of thing. So, or if they are doing interviews, it really could be like we had 30 people request this person for interviews. We have time for 10 of them to interview, or we have a press conference that can fit 20 people. Who were the first 10 or 20 people? And that's how they do it. They do it by who was the first ones, whatever. So it's not, this isn't Comic-Con where, interviews are like, that's the lifeblood of being press at San Diego Comic-Con is,
the application process for Dragon Con is a lot harder to get in than Comic-Con.
It's not.
For me anyways. Looking at the applications, when I've looked at Comic-Con was easy. This one is more, they're like asking all these. Anyways.
It depends on what you're going for. For press, it's
I guess it's more if you're more overall like a well-rounded press place. If you're more of a specific fan blog that is like well known, area, you're still gonna have a hard time at Dragon Con, whereas at Comic-Con it's a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely, if you are a single fandom thing like Podcast of Ice and Fire, for instance, it is much harder to get it is much harder to deal with the Dragon Con application than it is for Comic-Con, weirdly enough. However, as like a multi-fandom like website, the Comic-Con app is a lot more stringent for press. But the difference is you have to apply for Dragon Con every single year. And for Comic-Con, once you apply, you're good for, I think, 2 years. It could be 3. I honestly can't remember. But the thing is, like, once you're...
As well, like, once they know that you've been approved, they're just like...
Right. And once you're pressed for Comic-Con, you get a ton of press-related emails about, like, press rooms that are happening and interviews and stuff like that. Like, everybody that's pressed for Comic-Con pretty much gets most of those things. Not all of them, but most of them. For Dragon Con, like, you can be approved as press, but you might not get approved for interviews. And you could get approved for interviews, and like 2015, I applied for interviews and got a whole bunch. Last year, we applied for interviews and got none. This year we applied for interviews, and who knows what'll happen. Why is my dog barking again?
And I think I heard the media director explicitly say, that there is a preference, kind of a tiering, where, local media and mass media in terms of like the CNNs and the local TV stations and radio stations get sort of a preference in terms of, their dealings, and that's also part of being part of a local event. This is important for Atlanta. And so, they try to prioritize local and then kind of go out to online. They view the more it goes towards online, the more it's periphery to their media strategy, I guess.
Well, at 7:00 on a Sunday night.
Huh?
Someone just rang the doorbell to the house here at 7:00 on a Sunday.
The Jehovah's Witnesses are not taking a break.
Oh, it was Amazon.
Oh.
That cosplay piece you've been dating for. Whenever the doorbell rings, they get excited because, cosplay.
I have something waiting for me downstairs. It was somehow delivered today. I don't know how. I think it's security just checked it in today. It was really delivered yesterday, probably.
Every time I come home and there's a package. Sorry, I've started to the point where I'm declining down into drunk now. Every time I come home and there's a package on my bed, I just get unnaturally excited. And it doesn't even matter what it is at this point. I'm just like, one more thing I don't have to buy or have to make.
Anyway, like we don't know what our press schedule is going to be, and we won't know probably until literally the week of Dragon Con, which does it for me especially. It sucks because I am on 7, possibly 8 panels this year. So getting started on what we do know about panels. Friday, Andrew is on the Westworld panel. Do you know what the name of it is off the top of your head?
Oh gosh, I have to look back.
How the Westworld was won.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a general overview, a look back on the season, and just talking about the themes of Westworld. There's one that's on Friday, and there's one that's on Monday. So I will be on that.
I wanted to be on the Monday one.
I actually applied for both, and I just got the Friday one.
I applied for both, assuming I would probably get the Monday one, but I got put on other panels with the track, and I know that this is the American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media track. The track director Kellen is great. Like I've known Kellen, not like super well. Obviously, we're not BFFs or anything, but I've known Kellen and have been working with her as a panelist since 2012, which that was my first year at Dragon Con, and I applied to be on the single Game of Thrones panel that track had that year, and I was nobody. This was before I was even with the Geek Theory. I was just a girl with a blog who I couldn't even call myself a cosplayer at that point because I literally cosplayed once before that Dragon Con. And she took a chance on me as a panelist, and I have been on panels with their track ever since. And it's always a good time, even when it's not.
And that's also how I feel exactly the same way. They took a chance on me. I mean, last year they didn't know me at all. I didn't really have a social media presence, and they put me on a panel. It went really well. I mean, luckily I won't have to deal with, because there's a high fantasy track now, I won't have to deal with the horde of show questions. The horde of book questions on the show panel, and there'll be a division, here where that's in a separate track which deals with both. But it's always, that track has always been really great, and Kellen's been easy to deal with and very responsive.
So you're the Westworld panel right now is scheduled and shouldn't change. It's scheduled for 4 p.m. and that's in, I think it's M301, 302.
Yes, 302. Yes, the same. Been in for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So it's on the lobby level of the Marriott, maybe?
The lobby level of the Marriott.
And then actually I'm on the panel right after that, which is 5:30 p.m. on Friday. It's Valhalla Calls. It's for the History Channel show Vikings. So it is a kind of a recap of the 4th season. So if you haven't seen all 4 seasons of Vikings, I do not suggest attending it because there are some huge things that happen, especially in the 4th season, that if you've not seen them, the show isn't popular enough that you would be spoiled for it. Should you watch the show? Absolutely, because it's freaking amazing. But if you haven't seen through the 4th season, definitely don't go to this panel. But you can watch at least the first 3 seasons, and I'm pretty sure the 4th season too. It's all on Hulu right now. So if you have Hulu, we've actually we've been watching from the beginning, and I recently also started rewatching the 4th season, and I'll finish my rewatch because I wanted to. The last episodes aired earlier this year, so I wanted to kind of recap it before going to the con. So there's other and again, I'm not going to get into the whole Friday schedule. But yeah, there's we were talking about earlier, the crowdsource schedule on the subreddit, and also if you search on Facebook, it's the sci-fi media track is weird. It's DCon SF. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. No. It's Dragon Con, all one word, - American SF and Fantasy ampersand. American SF ampersand Fantasy Media. That is the American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media track Facebook group. So their schedule is in there. 4 p.m. Westworld panel, and 5:30 p.m. Vikings panel are both on Friday.
Friday, okay.
And then Saturday we've got the season review for GOT, which should be pretty good.
Yeah, that's at 11:30.
I've already seen people posting various places, like, are there going to be things, like, and I imagine just based on the timing this year, that one will be probably standing room only at the end of it, just based.
Yeah,
on
and that's the what's the L level of the Marriott? What's the?
I think that's also lobby. It's where the Tolkien track used to be.
Oh wait, so is the M level because the M is different than L?
Oh, sorry, M is marquee level.
Oh, marquee level. Okay, so American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media track is marquee level. High Fantasy track is all on the lobby level.
Yes.
So yeah, Saturday at 7:30. 11:30. I can't talk. 11:30 in the morning. Andrew and I are both on the Game of Thrones season 7 panel with the High Fantasy track. I'm so excited about that.
Which, by the way, guys, this is huge, and I will say, like, in all the podcasts I've listened to, like ESO, I've listened into 50 Days interview. One of the main justifications was for Game of Thrones because they were so frustrated with not being able to put book and show together and have those discussions. So, as Ice and Fire attendees here, it's very exciting to be able to talk about book stuff, even though it's no longer spoilers. To not have to segregate those conversations out because that is all under High Fantasy now, along with Tolkien, along with Shannara Chronicles, along with Wheel of Time.
Yeah, there used to be a Wheel of Time track. There used to be a Tolkien track. So it's like it's the Game of Thrones time.
Is there a Harry Potter track?
There's a young adult. There's a young adult fiction track, and they handle all the Harry Potter stuff.
That's where I'll be living.
And Hunger Games and yeah.
Still, I know Hunger Games is done, but I'll never not.
Well, and I think they're trying to put things together. That's the general consolidation of putting things together in one track instead of having something that dies eventually, and you have to redo a track.
Makes sense. A Wheel of Time track does not make sense anymore. Just saying.
No.
So yeah, so there's the Game of Thrones season 7 recap panel on Saturday morning at 11:30 in L. What is it? 401 to 403. I think.
Yes, it is. It's 3 rooms.
L 401 to 403 at the Marriott. Now Saturday at 10 p.m. You can catch myself and Chloe, who is the head of marketing for Ice and Fire Con, and one of our small council members now as well, on the Looney Theories panel. And I think it's more of like an activity than a panel, or an event than a panel, because while her and I and Brian who is also an Ice FireCon volunteer, are running the panel along with, I think, Jennifer, who runs the High Fantasy track. It's not going to be just us sitting at a table. There's going to be an easel or a whiteboard at the front of the room where we will write down all of the crazy theories about how the series will end, from both ourselves and audience members, preferably audience members. But obviously, if people aren't speaking up, we're going to have to step in. And
you said this is Saturday, right?
Saturday at 10 p.m. Yeah.
Okay. So, you and I will be dressed up as Cersei and Olenna.
So what time
that was on purpose.
Parade?
Okay.
Oh yeah, the parade is Saturday morning. Sorry. Side note, parade is Saturday morning. It starts at 10 a.m. on Peachtree, 5 or 6 blocks, I think, north of the Hyatt.
Yes.
So yeah, it's at 10 a.m. that it starts. It usually goes by the Hyatt around like 10:20, 10:30 is when it starts going by the Hyatt. So, and it wraps up. I mean, when I was in the parade, it wrapped up by 11:30. So, like, I know, like, Andrew and I we will hopefully have our parade view room and be having our viewing party. Invite only people. But
wait, what? Wait, your panel's at
11:30
Did you not
a.m.
invite us?
No, Becca, hush your face. I'm just not inviting anybody, any random person who's watching this webcast.
Oh, I was about to be like,
We're all friends here.
Is your panel overlapping with the parade?
Not really. We'll have to leave the
Maybe
room
the
about.
end.
We'll have to leave the room about 11:10. So which is maybe a little bit before the parade would stop passing in front of the Hyatt, but not much. I'm not worried about it. And also, like, if like, it's not like people can't stay in the room. Like, as long as, like, Brian might be there, as long as somebody who's staying in the room is there, other people can stay. We'll just, Andrew and I will have to head out. But yeah, so the parade is Saturday morning, and if you have a room to view it. But yeah, or you can go outside and be, in the crowds, and that's really cool too.
Do that early. If you gotta go outside, go early.
Yeah, go super early. I mean, like 8.
Yeah.
To get a place where you can actually see things. So anyway, Saturday at 10 after our 11:30 a.m. panel, there's like this huge chunk of time where I actually have free time. And then Saturday at 10 p.m. In the same room, L401 to 403. You can catch me and Chloe and Brian, all Ice and FireCon people, along with, I think, Jennifer, who runs the High Fantasy track.
Yes.
I'll be in the crowd. Ow.
Yeah, on the Looney Theories panel, which is going to focus on like how the series will end and the craziest theory, or just not even just how the series will end, but just the craziest theories from the series, both book and show. I'm hoping to,
and that's important. It is show and book. They've actually said that on various podcasts. It is show and book.
Yes,
and that's just like one of the first events ever where this has happened. So hallelujah! Finally, the day has come. Late, but it's come.
Yeah. So please. Yeah, please attend, because I think also I know it's late at night, but I would still suggest getting there super early, because I really think that these Game of Thrones panels, Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire panels are going to fill up. They always have before. So yeah, the earlier you can get there, the better. And Ashley, you guys are going to the aquarium for the first time this year, right?
Yes, we are, Saturday night.
I've never been, so I have nothing to say about it.
Can't tell you how it is, but there's fish.
we can do a post-con report on that. That's just the reason to do a post-con report on that.
I know VIP tickets have sold out. They sell out early every year. There's probably not going to be tickets. It's probably going to sell out before actually Saturday night. They always warn you.
Yeah. Honestly, if you want to go to the aquarium and you haven't bought your ticket yet, buy your friggin' ticket. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah. Starting last year, it is only Dragon Con attendees there, so you don't have to worry about normies taking up space.
Yay!
It's a big cosplay event too. Like if you have like some sort of fish themed cosplay, that's
Fish season.
The place to go for it. And there's going to be competition this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to enter, but we might, because we're kind of in good costumes this year for it. So there's that. There is a bar, so of course you can get your drink on. I have heard that weapons are an issue, like props. So if you are planning on bringing props, check if they're allowed, because
for Dragon Con or for the aquarium?
For the aquarium.
Oh.
Yeah, Dragon Con, I mean, it's still generally a little bit Wild Westier than
they
most
don't
cons.
have a weapons check at Dragon Con, but if you're, any off-site events will have their own rules. So if you're doing any off-site events, make sure to check that before you just show up with a perfect Replica airsoft gun with an orange tip. That doesn't always fly, even if it has an orange tip. So, definitely double check on that.
All right. So that's Saturday. Sunday, I'm on a panel at 1 for the Apocalypse Rising track. So it's at the Westin. I got to be honest, I haven't looked at the exact room yet. I'm bad, but it's somewhere. It's in the main Apocalypse Rising rooms at the Westin, and it's Ladies' Guide to the Apocalypse. So we're going to be talking about generally like leading ladies in apocalyptic shows and books, which would be like Katniss and Clark from the 100 and some of the ladies from The Walking Dead, that type of thing. But we're also going to be talking about like fun tips about how to survive the apocalypse as a lady, and joking about personally, I'm excited to joke about how like these women in these movies and shows always look like totally like made up and perfect, even when they look dirty, they're perfect. Like, who the fuck has time to pluck their eyebrows during the apocalypse? Like,
there's always big razors around. There'll always be a big razor.
Yeah. So yeah, that's. I think that's going to be a really fun panel, and I think that it could use some good like audience participation. So that's a plus.
This is 1:00. You said on Saturday.
Sunday.
And the Westin is not hard to get to. I know a lot of people complain about anything that's not in like the Holy Trinity, but it's like
I would rather walk to the Westin than the Hilton.
Yeah,
because walking to the Hilton involves having to walk through the Marriott and then down the tunnel to the Hilton and then finding whatever the F you're going to at the Hilton. Like,
and mind you, now that the Hilton's back escalators are gone, by the way, the traffic will be much worse through the Hilton.
Yeah.
In the past, the Hilton used to be nice, have a nice lobby where you didn't have to deal with the elevators if you wanted to get around it. Not anymore. You gotta wait for that elevator line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Sunday at 1, and then Sunday at 3, Andrew and I are on Game of Masculinity, which is like a panel about toxic masculinity in Game of Thrones.
I wanted to get on that panel.
They wanted a guy. I honestly said I was a backup, and then I was like, "All right, I'll take this." But I'm glad I'm with Tara, so we can play off each other.
Yeah, you hear us bitch all the time, so I know that you'll bring my spirit with you.
I will summon the Ashley San spirit. It'll be there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ashley, just come to the panel because, like, I don't, none of these panels. The only panels I'm on that have specifically had a moderator named are the ones with Apocalypse Rising tracks. So like if there's no moderator named and nobody else wants to step up, I'll step up. And but I would hope that any other person who would step up would be like me, and that it's like, panelists, introduce yourself and kind of talk about things for a few minutes, but then you turn it over to the audience, because in fan panels, it's the audience and the questions that you get from them that really drive the best conversations.
Yes.
It's like with that topic, especially people like, oh, it's just feminazis talking about this. It's like, no, this affects the men too. Like, it's not masculinity. It harms them.
There's so much
to push that narrative as well, because poor Sam.
Yes, poor Sam. And poor Renly,
Yeah.
So like, seriously, like, it doesn't matter if you're on the panel or not. Please come to the panel. And again, as with any Game of Thrones panels at Dragon Con, please get there early, y'all. Like, and when I say early, you don't have to line up an hour before, but I would honestly plan on being outside of the room 15 to 20 minutes before. There will be a line. There was last year and the year before, at least. So I would plan on that. So if a panel starts at 2:30, plan on being, outside the room in that general area by 2:15 and asking to make sure there's no line already formed.
Late night panels, plan even longer. Make sure you get there an hour before for late night panels.
I know that for the 100, the first year I went, it was a 45-minute wait.
Well, and that was the actual.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about fan. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. Fan panels are usually you don't have to actually go sit outside and wait for fan panels. But the last couple years, really, I think the last 3 years, there have been lines for Game of Thrones fan panels. There's not enough of them compared to the number of fans of the show, sadly.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately, these were the former Tolkien rooms, so it is a bigger room than the American Sci-Fi Media, and it's 100% bigger than the Fantasy Lit, which had a lot of these panels before on the show side. So,
It's like I looked online, and if you look at the meeting like document on the Marriott website, the full like theater or whatever seating, like the largest number of people you can fit in these rooms is less than the combined 3 rooms that High Fantasy has is actually a lower square footage and lower number of seats than the American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media 2 rooms.
I saw that as well, but just having gone to the Tolkien events and having seen how many people they put in there, it just doesn't feel like that's accurate. But I mean, I mean, we'll see this year what they, they get away with. So,
okay. Well, that's good to know. So that's Sunday at 2:30 in the afternoon. Game of Toxic Masculinity, and then I'm actually. Go ahead, Ashley.
I was just saying it should be a really good debate.
It's 2 and 2. It's 2 guys and 2 women. So it should be pretty even.
Yeah, and it should be a good debate, and this is why I'm kind of hoping that whoever steps up to the plate in terms of being a moderator is like willing to control the crowd, because that can be an issue on some of these channels. It has been in the past, at least. Like I've absolutely had to talk down an argument between a drunk, belligerent attendee and another attendee, like drunk belligerent attendee who had the total right ideas and beliefs, and other attendee who was sober, but also like saying that rape as a plot device was totally okay.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So
was I there?
It was this was 2014.
Oh my god, I was
Game
about
of
to be
Thrones
like
2014. It was it was.
Was this when Tyrion was a feminist?
Yes, it was a Tyrion Sansa conversation, and I wasn't even the moderator of the panel that year, and I had to no, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this. No.
People are it's good to be passionate, just not confrontational.
Don't be an
everybody's
asshole.
passionate about your fandom, but just know that there's a limit and you got to turn it off at some point.
Y'all, I just want you to know that my dog is so cute right now.
We have a nice crotch.
What? Oh, splendid. That's rude. The last time I was on a webcast, somebody called her a stupid fucking Mad Max dog. I lost. No, because I named her after the Splendid Aunt Garrett. From Mad Max. And honestly, I don't know, because remember I want to call her Cheeto, Tara?
Yeah. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
No, we love Splendid. She's the sweetest, except for my dogs, who are better than every other.
I will fight you. I will fight you. I'm drunk enough that I will fight you.
Okay, so that's Sunday. No, I'm sorry. One more thing on Sunday. I'm on a panel at 5:30 Sunday evening for The Defenders, like Netflix, The Defenders, which just...
How is that show?
It's good. I liked it. It's not amazing.
Yeah.
It's a little too much Daredevil and a lot too much Iron Fist, and nowhere near enough Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. So like the marginalized characters, the woman and the black man, were still marginalized. So that wasn't great. But as a whole, like, it's an enjoyable 8 episodes. It's better. I think it's better than Daredevil season 2, and it's fucking way better than any part of Iron Fist, which is like just I had to like force myself to finish watching that. So
my dad refuses to watch any of the Defenders characters. He said he watched Jessica Jones, and then he watched a bit of Daredevil, and he like refuses to watch Iron Fist. And my dad's basically Ron Swanson. For anybody who's watching, he's basically Ron Swanson, very conservative. But the only character that he really likes and he actually cares about is Luke Cage. And he's like, if he's not in the Defender series, I'm not going to watch it. I was like, he's definitely in there. Don't worry.
The main thing that the Defenders left me with is realizing that Jessica Jones is so much better than all the other series put together.
Oh my God. Like, honestly, Jessica Jones is way by far the best. Daredevil season 1 and Luke Cage season 1 are about even.
Luke Cage, I felt dragged after a while. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Luke Cage Luke Cage and Daredevil season 2 suffer from the episode 8-ish to 10-ish doldrums, where they get really boring for a few episodes around that time. I personally prefer Luke Cage slightly over Daredevil season 1, just because I identify more with his character as like a super Hufflepuff, and also the music in Luke Cage is it's just amazing. It's amazing. But yeah, no, Jessica Jones is by far the best. Iron Fist is fucking horrible, and I
started liking that series at first, but then it just kept going. And going.
This isn't a movie. I want off.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. So yeah, so Defenders is pretty good. I don't want to say anything too much because I know not everybody will have seen it at this point. But yeah, so 5:30 p.m. on Sunday with American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media. So it's going to be in Marriott, 301, 302, the marquee level. I'm on their Defenders panel. And then Monday, are you on anything on Monday, Andrew?
I don't seem at this point. I think I'm a backup for one, but at this point I'm not confirmed on anything on Monday.
Yeah, Monday. The only one I am 100% for sure on, I am on the 100 fan panel at 1 p.m.
What?
Yeah, so it's like a panel for fans of the 100. So I'm the moderator of that panel. It's at the Westin because it's with the Apocalypse Rising track. So that's the one panel that I'm 100% for sure on. Today last night I got an email from Jennifer, who runs High Fantasy, about a King Killer Chronicles panel.
I saw that
may be happening at 11:30 a.m. Monday morning. So that's a pretty strong maybe. At this point, I think she has enough people to make it happen. We don't know what the theme is going to be. It's not going to be in the printed programs, and it's probably not even going to be in the app at this point. Because she had a last minute cancellation or something, but.
How does one go about getting panels? Because I feel like a Blade itself panel is due. I haven't seen one, and that's a really big fantasy series. And I feel
it anime?
Blade itself?
Or
Blade?
Oh, Blade?
Oh, Blade is an urban fantasy, I think. Blade is an urban fantasy. Yeah, there's some...
Never mind.
You're talking about the Joe Abercrombie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is it books or anime? I don't know it.
It's High Fantasy.
Oh, it is. Okay.
We're talking about Wesley Snipes, right?
No. She's talking about another. I haven't read it. We'll talk afterward, because if there's never been a panel about it and you want there to be, the best way is to contact the track director directly. So but I mean, if you want to just generally be on panels, here's the sad thing about DragonCon. They do not publish a panelist application.
Yes.
Almost every other convention does that, including San Diego Comic-Con, y'all. But DragonCon is, excuse the gender, the gendering of it, it is an old boys club.
Without the boy, with many of the track directors being female. Right?
Yeah. So excuse the gendering, because but the general term, it's an old boys club. It's an old people's club, and I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about these people have all been doing it for a really long time, and it's not that they're a lot of them are super open to bringing in new people, but you have to contact them.
Yes.
Except for American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media Track, I don't think I've ever seen a track post a panelist application in their group. Mm-hmm. On Facebook or on their I found the American Sci-Fi Fantasy Media one on their DragonCon webpage years ago, in 2012. The other ones don't even update their pages, so good luck finding it there. So and they don't put it in their Facebook, on their Facebook pages or in their Facebook groups. So it's really hard to find the way to be a panelist. it's not hard to become one. It's just hard to figure out how to do so, which is very frustrating.
And like Tara said, I think the key is to contact them directly. And I will say, like with High Fantasy, since it was the new track this year, she went out and did make the Facebook page and send out some requests. But some of those panels, like, were even suggestions I had. Like, I had even suggested one about the women's issues and the masculinity, or something about that, because I said that's one of the major things I identified as needs to be talked about and is relevant to today.
Yeah, but even with that, like, I saw that post, and even with that, it was more like a general, hey, who would be interested in this track? It wasn't even like a outward, hey, who wants to be on this track? Like, it's very much you have to kind of,
read between the lines.
You really have to be what's the word that I'm looking for? Forward thinking is
Gregarious? No.
Not even
progressive.
Proactive. Thank you, Andrew. I was like, that word was.
Yeah, I got it.
So you have to be super, super proactive in order to be considered to be a panel. In order to be a panel, it's just generally not even to be considered. Like, and Ashley, I mean, one of the panels that were on the Looney Theories one, like, I would have said, like, hey, Ashley, be on this panel with us, but I knew you guys were going to the aquarium, so it was like, obviously, not going to interfere with that, but yeah, it's being a panelist or getting to be a panelist isn't super difficult. It's just the lead up to how you get in touch with the track directors and everything. I was super lucky that I wrote a couple articles about DragonCon within the past year or less that ended up with some track directors actually contacting me and saying, like, we don't want to be like this old boys club. We want to, we need new blood. We want new blood. So, and I do think that with the slow but very, very gradual growth of the Facebook groups and Facebook pages for all the different tracks, I do think that within the next 5 years, it will be kind of almost commonplace for all the tracks to have, or at least most of the tracks to have, like, panelist applications that are readily available to anybody. So
right.
Hopefully.
But the future could hold, this is that we have the technology to make a universal panelist application where, you express general interest and it is sent out uniformly to any track you have interest in, to express, hey, contact me because I might want to be on one of your panels, and give a better pool instead of having to kind of scrap around at the last minute, as many panels do. And in all different tracks, having to find people at the last minute who may not really be as invested in the property.
Yeah, I think that's a long time coming. I'll be completely honest.
Maybe.
But and I think that's going to be the one last, like, holdout that DragonCon kind of, like, refuses to do. But anyway, so next up, because I would say I would like to end this. I would like this to be definitely no more than 2 hours long. Cosplay. What do we think will be super popular this year? My list was Rick from Rick and Morty, specifically versions of Pickle Rick. I mean, how easy is it to just be a pickle? Yondu Poppins, which I've seen several of at other conventions. So I think that's going to be big. I think Suicide Squad Harley Quinn is still going to be up there. Lots of Glow. I mean, I personally am cosplaying Glow, so and also tons of Wonder Woman and Amazon, generic Amazons. And I also maybe some Moana, specifically Tafiti, because she seems to be the most popular. I mean, really, she's the easiest to do because you can just paint yourself green and you're not being, racist. Okay. And then Handmaid's Tale. I think we'll see a ton of handmaids, maybe some wives.
Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Jyn Erso. Maybe.
I think we'll see Jyn Erso, but I think we'll see more Princess Leia just because of
Yeah. I mean, Disney is always popular. You can never really go wrong with Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yuri on Ice is still popular. It's going to be still big.
Did you say Yuri on Ice?
Yeah.
That's what I listed on mine. I don't even really follow, but I was like,
if you're into anime, it's a big one. It's huge.
Yeah.
My Hero Academia too for anime. Of course, if you see a costume and you don't know what it is, just assume it's anime.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody does. Like, if you see a costume on anybody and you don't know what it is immediately, just, okay,
It's anime.
fine, it's anime.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's how I am.
Anybody else? Thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much agreed with everything you said, Tara, except for I'm adding in Overwatch, maybe some Spider-Man, and I know there'll be some Femme Doctor Who out there. I really think that'll be out there.
A lot of Marvel, DC, because of all the stuff coming out. That's kind of reiterating. I think, like I said, Disney is always a big thing. Stranger Things, more of that, especially since it's dropped and people are going to be doing that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Steven, possibly.
Is there any big anniversaries this year?
Yes, but I don't remember them right now. But there are some big anniversaries.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. If there are, Buffy. I think Buffy is.
Yes, Buffy is having a big thing.
25th.
Yeah,
I want to say it's the 25th. It could be 20th.
It is the 25th, I believe. No, wait. No, it's the 20th. Yeah.
Hold on. Buffy
SG1.
the Vampire Slayer anniversary.
Stargate
SG1. That'll be a big one.
Oh my god, I'm
20th.
So excited, y'all.
It is.
Oh yeah, and Matt Smith is going to be there this year, so there's probably going to be a lot of Doctor Who for that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
40th anniversary of Star Wars.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I always forget. Like, I forget about the Star Wars, or not forget, but like I went to Star Wars Celebration, so it's like Star Wars.
There's always lots of Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Well, Star Wars is well represented at Dragon Con. When you have your own track that will never be taken away, that is permanently locked down in perpetuity. Thank you, Disney.
Well, I mean, honestly, it could have been taken away, or not, or
There's
merged
no
with
way.
other No, it could have been. It could have been if it had gone the way of Tolkien, but it hasn't.
Because there's been new Star Wars.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying. Sure.
Like it and people, when I posted an article about the disappearance of the Tolkien track, Tolkien and Buffy or Whedonverse, and the Tolkien people were flipping out on me like, haven't you read his new books that came out? And it's like,
new books.
You mean his son's new books that he's compiled from his notes,
from his dead father's notes, or dead father's stories, like, and that's fine. Yes, it is new material, but it's not new material in the sense that it's going to make movies and TV shows and like
yes,
it's done.
I don't know though. The Silmarillion, they're talking about it.
Until
God, I hope not.
Until he dies, that will not be a thing. I mean.
Yeah.
I think they tried to hold them off of the Hobbit movies because they were like, Silmarillion, yeah. And we were like, no. How do we Hobbit instead? Sounds like a good idea. Because I read the Silmarillion when I was like, I don't know, 12 or something. And my dad was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm reading a book. And he was like, no, you don't want to read that book.
Speaking of other cosplays, the Death Note might be bigger.
Yes, I'm very excited to see some Ryuks. I really am. Some Shinigamis.
It's easy to cosplay if someone's just really wants an easy costume.
Did you say Elle was?
Yeah, easy cosplay. Yeah. Actually, Nisa was one of my first cosplays because
mine too.
Pulled out my Hot Topic clothes and was ready.
That's it. You're good to go.
I'll have to show you. I'll have to show you mine sometime, Ashley, because that's wild.
All right. So, not to be rude, but I'd like to wrap this up. What are we all cosplaying? Somebody go first.
I can do it quick, and there's lots of Thrones on here. I got the Hef Snow. I got the Hef Snow in here doing Westworld for the panel, doing Start Catchem. You get to pair up with Tara over there. Got something GOT, probably Littlefinger. Maybe something else. Party Jorah, another GOT, then Slytherin for the Yule Ball.
All right,
done.
Okay, Becca.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. Thursday, I'm doing Caesar Flickerman Bunny Hutch. I'm basically reprising from last year, except for reprising, whatever.
Reprising.
Glitter. What are you giggling at? Is it reprising or reprising?
Reprising.
I don't know why I said reprising. I've been listening to a lot of Eddie Izzard, okay? So maybe that's why. So I have to actually get out my stuff. So doing Caesar Flickerman, I'm doing Ivy's Little Monster, Harley Quinn. I'm very excited. Tara and I are going to be doing that again together, but we've kind of made some upgrades, so I'm very excited about that. Including my shorts that finally fucking got here. Doing Star Wars Rebels Hera Girl Gang, so I'm going to be doing Hera Girl Gang. I'm doing Echo from the 100 on Saturday night. I'm going to be doing the Deal With It meme Elena, where she has the glasses. And I have a number 1 grandma pimp cup that I'm going to be bringing with me. So if you're a Joff, find me. And then Sunday I'm doing Battle Maleficent from the 2014 Angelina Jolie movie for the feminist icons. And then Sunday night I'm doing Bellatrix for the U-Ball. I'm done.
All right, Ashley.
Yeah, I'm doing Joanna Bunny Hutch version from Hunger Games. Friday we're just doing a generic mermaid group, so it's more just having fun with makeup. Friday night, secret costume, which may or may not happen depending on the mail situation.
Oh, that's why you didn't answer me.
Yeah. Saturday is I'm just doing the one costume because it involves body paint. It's going to be Yuri on Ice, but it's an AU, so it's a kind of a fan version where he's a king of the night, so I'm blue.
Ooh.
If you're on Tumblr, you know what I'm talking about. Then Sunday, during the day, I'm probably doing Food Wars, which is an anime. And then Sunday night, I'm doing Rowena Ravenclaw for the Yule Ball.
Yay!
Go, Keith!
I don't remember.
What are your cosplays, Keith?
I'm like a prop for all of her cosplays except for Sunday.
That's the role of fiance.
Yeah.
He's cosplaying a fiance. He's cosplaying a cosplayer's fiance.
So he's doing Jareth on Sunday for Yule Ball because Jareth totally went to Hogwarts. And that's...
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
He'll get
I
more...
have so many people who complimented me
Can
on his
you
gear.
give him...
all of us combined.
Can you give him, like, Slytherin accents?
Ooh.
We have the technology.
Yeah, we need to give him Slytherin accents so that he is Jareth, but also like slightly Slytherin Jareth. Like,
I have a head boy pin. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Is it a
There we
green
go.
head boy pin?
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
Slytherin.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I'm only Slytherin. I don't delve in other technology.
Oh, okay. I can get behind that.
Slytherin. I don't mix houses. You are.
Wow, that's the most Slytherin thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Get him a Slytherin locket. Because actually, for Rowena, I'm wearing the diadem. So if you can get him a Slytherin locket, that works.
Oh.
You gotta find that.
I'm sure we could Amazon Prime one of those.
Of course.
I'm going to actually look it up. Hold on.
Over to Universal. Yeah.
All right, so for me, God, I have too many costumes, y'all. I'm doing a really like laid back, half-assed Liberty Bell from Glow for the pool on Thursday, and then Thursday night is Effie for Hunger Games Bunny Hutch, and then Friday is Suicide Squad style Poison Ivy with Becca. Friday night is Team Casterly Rocket version 2.0 with Brian as my James, aka Jamie. And Saturday, I've got a secret cosplay during the day, which like normally I would be like loose-lipped and reveal, but after what happened last year, where my secret cosplay, I like ended up doing a photo shoot with it 2 months before, and my creepy ex's girlfriend showed up as like a version of the same thing, like very, very similar version of the same thing. It was really fucking weird, y'all. So my secret cosplay is a goddamn secret cosplay. I think two people know what it is right now. Becca's one of them. Keep your lips sealed. And then Saturday night, I'm Queen Bitch Cersei to go with Becca's Deal With It Olenna. And then Sunday, I'm doing Galaxy Quest. I guess Gwen during the day. My hair is too long and too blonde, but I don't give a shit. It's good enough.
In that group? I love that movie.
I don't even think it's a group. I think it's just Brian and I doing Gwen and Jason Nesmith.
Oh, nice.
We had a few people who were going to join us, and then they kind of got, roped into other things, whatever.
I didn't do it because other people took all the spots. I'm just like, oh, I guess I won't do that.
But yeah,
You can
so
do
we're doing
rock.
that during the day, and then I'm doing steampunk Hufflepuff, just a generic steampunk Hufflepuff Sunday night.
Team Puff.
Steam Puff.
Yeah, steampunk. So yeah, lots of cosplay. I always say every effing year, I say I am not going to do things like 2 costumes a day, and I always do it. So
I've dropped like 7 cosplays since I started from last year. I was gonna do Mrs. Packard from Atlantis: The Lost Empire, and I also was gonna be doing Bjork because apparently I look like Bjork. I don't see it, but
I think it's the eyes.
yeah, the Scandinavian eyes. Y'all, I'm really drunk.
So anyway, so those are our cosplays. Other stuff, we'll rush through this a little bit. Parties Thursday, Marriott pool in the afternoon for drinks and fun. Usually we show up around like 1 or something, 1 or 2. We're there for a couple hours. Bunny Hutch is Thursday night. It's at the Hilton this year. Friday, Zombie Prom is Friday night. And like I said earlier, my buddy Adam of Level Up Events is DJing. Yay! Saturday, I have no idea. Some of us are going to the aquarium. We've got that Looney Theories panel that's from 10 to 11. So I kind of think we're not going to be doing any big parties, but I think it's Heroes and Villains.
Heroes and Villains.
I don't know what night the Spectrum party is.
And I think party on Alderaan or Party for Alderaan or whatever it is also
last party on Alderaan
Last
is
party on
on
Alderaan.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in I believe the Hilton.
The Hilton.
Doctor Who party this year too.
Yes, it's on the same night as well.
And then Sunday is the Yule
Sunday.
Ball, and also the Yule Ball is at the Marriott. The Steampunk party is at the Sheraton this year. Like we went to the Steampunk party last year because it was at the Hilton, but nobody wants to go to the Sheraton.
Yeah.
Andrew, you said the parties page is frequently
the parties
updated?
page is good. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all the things on the parties page, but they update it pretty religiously, and that's been a pretty good resource. So just go to that page. That is really www.deconparties.com.
Just beware, though, that if a party that's listed there does not take place at a host hotel, meaning the Sheraton, the Westin, the Hilton, the Marriott, or the Hyatt, that means that party likely has a cover charge or is a ticketed event.
Correct.
I'm sorry?
And a weapons policy.
Yeah, and a separate weapons policy and or bags policy.
Yes.
Some of them don't even allow like anything bigger than a clutch purse if you're a girl, like that type of thing. Guests this year, I mean, honestly, I'm not a big guest person. They've got a lot of people from the 100 again. They've got John Barrowman is there for a couple days. There's a few people from Michael Rooker, Sean Gunn are there from not Galaxy Quest. God damn it, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Anybody else?
We got Stan Lee this year.
We
got
he'll be asleep by 7. Huh?
Oh yeah, is Nathan Fillion there this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Then Alton Brown on Sunday,
Yeah.
Richard Hartman, I'm so excited to get to see him again.
Yes, Alton Brown is coming at 4 p.m. on September 3rd in the big Westin ballroom.
I just want to Becca had to mention Richard Hartman. I just want to say honestly, guys, like this is a serious moment. I'm really, really sad that Richard Hatch is gone. He has been a Dragon Con staple for many, many years. A couple years ago, Brian and I joked with Becca and got her, a Richard Hatch signed picture because she's obsessed with Richard Harmon, and we kept calling him Dan Harmon and Richard Hatch and stuff like that. And Richard Hatch was a Dragon Con staple for I don't even know how long. But I've ran into him at parties. I've ran into him on the street. I've ran into him at restaurants. I've walked up and talked to him at his, booth in the Walk of Fame. And it's like, Dragon Con is not going to be the same without him. It really isn't. whether or not you're a big fan or whatever, or a fan of Battlestar Galactica, it's really not going to be the same without him. So that's really sad.
Battlestar, I thought he was in Star Trek.
He did like a Star Trek fan film, but no, he was in the original Battlestar and he was in the new Battlestar. So, so yeah. Anyway, so those are guests, and other than that, I don't know. I think we can move to closing question, which is, what is your favorite DragonCon memory to date, and how do you hope to top it this year?
Oh man, that's hard.
Let's say watching the neighbors with.
Oh my god, I forgot you were there. That was last year Friday night. I was so drunk. Like I know.
That was a crazy night.
Yeah. Mine was waiting in line for the late night puppet slam, getting drunk with guys who do Walking Dead, and they gave me spoilers for the next season, which was awesome because I really didn't care. Cool. And they were like we were sharing flasks. It was awesome. Like, and it was.
When was
great.
that?
This was actually last year. Yeah, it was really, really awesome. I kept the spoilers to myself because I do not pollute the environment, but they told me a bunch of the things they were doing to troll people and get people off the scent. It was really, really cool.
I have to say mine was my very first DragonCon at the Mechanical Masquerade. There was this dude danced with me, kept trying to kiss me. He could not dance. He kept trying to kiss me, and he did that dip thing, and I just kept leaning back. He fell on the floor, and then this dashing gentleman came in and offered to dance with me, and it was a perfect gentleman. It was a great dancer, and it just, was like, there you go. That's how you ask a girl to dance. That was good.
No, I'm trying to think now. I think probably when Keith was drunk and he said he was going to go hunt down Richard Harmon and tell him what I had said the night before when I was drunk. Lainey and Richard, if you're watching this, I'm so fucking sorry. But no, because I was like, I just wanted to push me down and put dirt in my mouth. And so Keith and RJ were zeroed in on finding Richard and telling him to put dirt in my mouth. And I was like, the whole time I was like, and then I was so worried that they're going to find him, and they came back. They came back and they were like, he wasn't there. And I was like, oh my God, thank goodness.
I have a few more.
And also running around the bar my first year with Danny Kay. I don't know if anybody knows her. She does Octavia. She was
Danny.
That night. Yeah, Danny.
We all know Danny. I don't know if any random person watching.
Anyway, but she had taken off her Octavia top because she got too hot, so she was just in her jacket, and she was really sad because they couldn't find any of the anybody who was also wearing 100 cosplay. So I went up to this one guy who was he was tall. And he looked a bit like Ricky Whittle, whatever the fuck his name is. And I was like, will you take a picture with her? And I was really drunk, so I kind of shouted. I was dressed up as Meghan Trainor, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, will you take a picture with her? And he was like, okay. And so that was fun. I hope this year, because last year was kind of not great. So I'm hoping that this year I'll be able to make some great memories. Also covering Nami in blue lipstick. That was fun.
One thing? Thor more years.
Yes.
Thor more years.
Yes. Honestly, it's really hard for me to pick one memory. Shit. I guess, my first year at DragonCon, I got invited, or I posted that I was doing a book Cersei cosplay in the Game of Thrones, cosplay, the general Game of Thrones cosplay group. And this girl, this wonderful girl, Kayla, found me and was like, hey, we're doing a Game of Thrones photo shoot at DragonCon. Will you be our Cersei? Yeah, Kelly. And so she was Joffrey. So if it like, honestly, I will tell you guys this much. If it had not been for her inviting me to be the Cersei at that Dragon Con Game of Thrones photo shoot, Ice and Fire Con probably wouldn't exist. So it's like, I can't help but look back at that and be like, I remember going to that photo shoot and I was so hungover because it was Sunday and I was so hungover from the night before, but I filled this Bubba Keg like mug that I had with Bloody Mary and like went to this photo shoot. And by the time the photo shoot was done, I was wasted. And then I'm just wandering around drinking as Cersei, and people like, I wasn't wearing a show costume. So there was no way that people should have known who I was, but they did.
It's in character.
Yeah, like I got called out as drunk Cersei so much. And this was 2012. So this was when there'd been 2 seasons of the show, I think, right? Yes.
Yeah.
2 seasons of the show. You know, and don't get me wrong, like last year, literally all of DragonCon 2016 was my absolute, not just, it was my best DragonCon experience ever. And it was definitely my best non-Ice and Fire Con convention experience ever too. So I like last year as a whole, Thormore years and all that stuff was just like having the random party in our room on Sunday night where like 60 people showed up and security got called on us. Like that was all amazing.
Yes.
But like,
Con.
I just, in general, like I always look back to my whole first year at DragonCon was amazing, but that one situation where I was invited to be part of that Game of Thrones, you know, cosplay photo shoot as just a book cosplayer, like not some screen accurate shit, and met, you know, people who I will be friends with for life, and met people who changed my life because meeting them meant that Ice and Fire Con is a thing that exists. I don't know.
I totally agree. Yeah, no, I mean, I met all you guys through DragonCon, and that. Yeah,
if your first year was 2013, like I remember you like coming up to us when we were doing our like Lolita superheroes photo shoot, and you're like, "Hey, that's Ashley from Podcast Ice and Fire."
Andrew, I met you because you were gently hurt. You were playing shepherd to very drunk Becca on Saturday night. You were like hurting me. You're like, that small thing, and I was like, it's a tall person. Like that's how I met you. That's how I remember you.
And that's the thing with DragonCon. You just got to go with it. You just got to do, you know, hang out, leave yourself open to meeting people, and like you may meet people who are your best friends, you know. And that's I like, you know, saying off on DragonCon and why I love going back, because I always meet people that I just end up really enjoying. So
yeah, I think that's kind of the best way to close this thing is saying like, you, no matter what, like, plan your DragonCon out, y'all. Like, pick what you want to do. Put a list up. Like, go on the app and, you know, sign up for the panels and stuff. But, like, leave yourself open to random changes. Because, like, if I hadn't kind of allowed myself to have those random changes, if I hadn't gone with the flow at times, I probably wouldn't have met a lot of the people I've met today or whatever. So make your schedule and then be prepared to change it.
Yeah.
Yep.
On a whim.
Yep. Yeah. Also, I was in an elevator once with Loris. Anyone else got any elevator stories?
The Beastie Boys. I remember that.
I was in my underwear when we were doing that.
He was in his underwear when we met Loris in the elevator.
And now he's
Iron Fist.
That year it was 2015 was my first year. And I was kind of like, I was waiting for you because you guys were doing the Hodor fan, the Christian Nairn, when we get to the basketball, the basket case. Nobody gives a shit about basketball, y'all. Anyway, no, I was like standing off to the side, and he was like, "Hey," and I was like, I kind of side. I was like, "What?" And he was like, "You want to get a picture?" And I was like, "I'm good." I was like, it's $10, right? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hang out here. And he was like, so he took my camera when his handler's back was turned and took a photo of us, and I didn't have to pay for it. And I'm just like, no. Oh, I don't know. There's one elevator story, and Tara knows what I'm talking about. And I'm never gonna say it out loud because
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, I don't have any like famous people elevator stories.
Yeah.
I've run into famous people on street corners and stuff
Yes.
at Dragon Con. Oh my God, the mom and the guy friend from Buffy. I can't remember his name right now. The actor's name, Nick something maybe. I don't know. I've ran into a lot of people at Dragon Con, but it's never. It's always just kind of been like a momentary reaction. It's never been anything super silly, which is kind of what I like about Dragon Con is that these actors and stars and stuff that go there, they really can be themselves there more than they can be themselves at other conventions, specifically San Diego.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all right, so I'm gonna wrap this up because we're already like just over 2 hours in length. But thank you all for being on the webcast, and thank you to anybody who has been listening or is going to listen in the future. And yeah, let us know if you have any comments or questions. You can tweet at me at a Geek Saga. You can tweet at Ashley at Ashley Cleggan, like Sandra Cleggan. And you can tweet at Becca at Starshine on Fire. And Andrew, you can't tweet at.
No, don't tweet me. Just
Don't-
tweet.
don't-
Go through Tara. Go through Tara.
Yeah, just go through me and complain about Andrew. Just kidding. All right. So thank you guys so much. And yeah, have a great night. And hopefully we'll see you at Dragon Con in a couple weeks. If you see any of us, please say hi. We're all super friendly people. And as you can tell, we love to meet new friends. Because I'm pretty sure, other than me and Becca, none of us would know each other if it weren't for Dragon Con.
Yep.
Ashley and I are Ice and Fire.
Conuga.
Yeah, Ashley and I are Ice and Fire Con. Becca and Ashley are Conuga. But me and Andrew are Dragon Con.
But
Ashley and
if you-
Andrew are Dragon Con.
If you count Ice and Fire wouldn't happen without Dragon Con, you got the causal link.
Exactly. All right. So have a great night. Thank you for listening. And have a great Dragon Con 2017. Bye.
Bye.